It's summer in Alberta, and a huge part of summer in Alberta is rodeo. Now, whether you're in a small town like Nanton or the big city of Calgary, rodeo has been a part of Alberta communities for well over a century. And because rodeo is such a big part of the fabric of Alberta, we can be sure that a left-wing urban do-gooder in Vancouver will absolutely hate it. It's a safe bet to put your money on. Every single summer, we can count on the Vancouver Humane Society to send out their standard "We hate you, you cruel and evil Alberta Cowboys" fundraising letter, and they'll write a few articles condemning the sport of rodeo. VHS has a policy of lobbying to ban rodeo in every single city and town across the country, and this year was no different. Now, the VHS usually pulls their rodeo-hating stunt around the time of the Calgary Stampede, when the eyes of the world are focused on Calgary. The Calgary Stampede is a big money rodeo, not just for the Cowboys, but for the city too. The city of Calgary gets to have a well-deserved party, celebrating our Western culture and our proud rural history and the skill set of our hard-working cowboys and girls. And drinking and country music, there's a lot of both of those things happening at the Stampede. And this year, when Calgary was trying to forget the awful economic year we've all lived through, the Director of Communications for VHS, Peter Fricker, did some of his best rodeo bashing yet. He wrote an article for Huffington Post calling the sport of rodeo cruel and said the animals perform based on fear and suffering. And then he included some pictures with animals with strange looks on their faces as some sort of proof of this cruelty. My favorite was the bull. Now, I've taken a selfie with that same look on my face at a rodeo a time or two. Anyways, the VHS loves to attack the Chuckwagons. The Rangeland Derby at the Calgary Stampede and the smaller races at other rodeos all across the province are an absolute fan favorite. So naturally, the VHS hates the Chucks. They malign them for the few tragic and heartbreaking horse deaths that can happen as a worst-case scenario in the sport. But knowing rodeo and knowing a few cowboys, I tracked down one of Alberta's best Chuckwagon drivers, Ray Crotto. He's retiring this year, but with his colorful wagon that everybody knows as the Badass Rainbow, he's been an unofficial ambassador for the sport of Chuckwagon racing. He's introduced an entire new generation of fans to Chuckwagons, and I asked Ray about the welfare of his Chuckwagon horses. Here.
We train them and we give them a new opportunity at a new job, new lifestyle with actually less work. From the racetracks, they'll run for the first 5 years of their lives consistently, changing from tiers and levels of racetracks. As they get weaker and less competitive, they move down the totem pole and end up at some of the B tracks, but never really get a break. Where we get them as racehorses and turn them into a wagon horse, they work for 3 months of the year and then they get to be a horse the rest of the time. We have a pretty strict code of care. Our inspections are pre-race. We make sure that they're healthy and feeling good. We have veterinarians that travel with the circuit from town to town, and then each town has a local veterinarian that's here to assist us also, whether it's just maintenance or, a horse is sick and needs some attention. But we take better care of them than normally ourselves, right? So they eat first, they exercise first, and then we, once they're done and taken care of, we take care of ourselves. There's so much education in behind a diet, and especially when, it's no different than a human when they eat a high protein, a higher fat and carbohydrates to perform at a high level. You got to be able to fuel your body, fuel the muscles, and if you're feeding them right that way, they'll recover and respond better after the race too.
Now, I knew that, and anybody who knows a cowboy or a farmer knows that they respect and care for their animals. But let's put some context into the horse fatalities related to rodeo. This graph, although it's American, reveals the big picture. Thoroughbred racing and steeplechase are far more dangerous sports than rodeo. Now, this has to do with Pro Rodeo's strong commitment to partnering with veterinarians and animal care experts as part of each and every rodeo. And it also has to do with cowboy culture. Horses are a friend, a partner, and a fellow athlete, and cowboys and cowgirls treat them that way. But these horse fatality numbers reveal the truth about the motives here. It's not about horse deaths, otherwise these urban worrywarts would be down at the racetrack, protesting the fancy people's sports like steeplechase and thoroughbred racing. The New York Times even reports that 24 thoroughbreds die at racetracks each and every week in the United States. But the activists aren't down at the racetrack. Animal rights types like the VHS attack rodeo because it's not about saving the animals. It's the rodeo people themselves that VHS hates. Rodeo people, generally speaking, are small C conservatives. They're traditional family values people. They like working with their hands and their backs. They want to get the government out of their faces. They like to solve their own problems. They live in the country. They work hard for what they have, and they want to keep it that way. Worse still, they're often those icky Albertans who spend their winters working in that dirty oil patch to support their farms and their rodeo habits. You see, rodeo people are everything I love about Alberta and everything that would horrify most stereotypical left-wing urban hipsters from Vancouver. This is just run-of-the-mill, anti-Western, anti-rural, anti-conservative, anti-Alberta bigotry dressed up as concern. While guys like Ray Crotto use their sport to raise thousands of dollars for abused children being helped by the Sheldon Kennedy Child Advocacy Center, ghouls like the VHS use the deaths of beloved equine athletes as a fundraising tool before the Cowboys' tears are even dry. For TheRebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of The Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.